Hello everyone and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. You see I have on my table some fabric. This is Old Glory. This is the blue pin dot. I am cutting out my Every Heart Beats True wall hanging. This comes in the Old Glory Jolly Bar. And now, no, you can only get the Jolly Bars from Fat Quarter Shop. So, a Jolly Bar is a 5 by 10 inch piece of fabric. I believe I have some down here. These are my cuts that I've already done off of the Jolly Bars. Let me just hold it up for you. So far, that's what I've got done. This is off of the Jolly Bars. And this pattern takes 2 Jolly Bars. This is the shape of a Jolly Bar. It's just a 5 by 10 inch rectangle. And guys, I am trying to do this video tonight without a headpiece, without a mic, because I have realized my headpiece, it was doing nothing. It was not serving as a mic or anything. I tested it because there was a video that sounded like it was really far off. And that's because it was. Because that headpiece does not act as a microphone, apparently. So, that's okay. I am just going to start cutting this. And we're going to chit-chat just a little bit. I'm giving myself... It's getting late. So, it's going to be a short video. Got to get my measurements back out here. Now, I will not give measurements because this is not my pattern to give the measurements out to. So, just saying. I won't give the measurements out because it's not mine to give. Right now, what I will tell you, this piece of fabric is a half a yard of my background fabric. And I am going to have to do 6 different cuts on this fabric. But guys, I just wanted to come in and I may just sit here and chit chat with you a little bit. We are still in the midst yet. Okay, today is Tuesday evening. My husband worked off this morning and we went out and had a little dinner, but I was like, I really want to get in there and kind of do a little recording and chit chatting. So let me get my large ruler. It's hanging back here. Now I am getting my Fiskars cutter out. And I may see if I have some AccuQuilt blocks that will cut this down for me. Because I don't have a lot of the small blocks, but some I may. I may have 4 of the blocks. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a lot of square ones, and these are all square. And I have 2 rectangles, but I know this is not the size of the rectangle that I have. So, I am just going to go on and cut off a piece here. Let's see where my fold. This is my fold, so I don't need to be cutting on that end for sure. And I do want to even my edge up. So what I'm going to do is just line up. I probably need to be lining up the selvage end. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to line the selvage end up down here. And what I do is, when I do this, I line my selvage edge up. So what I'm going to do is, I have one end on the 1 inch, but the other end is almost on the 2 inch. So I am going to position my cutter on the 2 inch mark. And I'm cutting that off. Okay. So we have this end is even. Everything is even on this end. So what I'm going to do is lay my ruler where my first cut needs to be. Now, I can get several different sizes out of this first cut because it's going to be wider than the rest of it. So, since I do know that is even, and I can even line it up down here, I like to go a little bit below the mark line there. I'm giving it a little too much. 1/4 of an inch too much to be exact. I'm going to double check my cut because I'd rather double check my cut and have it right than to not double check and have it wrong. So, yeah, that's right. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go in and do a cut of this. And then I'm going to cut my other strips on the way across, but I may just flip you through this since it is not my pattern. Okay, guys, so you see I have you on my AccuQuilt here. I'm not exactly sure how to do this, but I don't believe I need this tray. So let's see if I can figure this out. I need to cut 4 of these right here. And I already have them the exact size they need to be from side to side. So that may not be a good thing. But we will find out. Now I'm going to see which way does this roll. It can roll either way. Okay. Just making sure. Okay, and I think this one goes right on top of this one here. So I'm making sure I'm lined up. Now let's see how this works. Okay, I'm going to slide. Now, like I said, I don't know exactly how to do this. Okay, so I've got it under there. I'm hoping I'm doing this correctly. Ooh, that pops out. That doesn't seem like I'm doing that correctly with it popping that way. So let's see. It cut it perfectly, guys. Look at that. So I need 4 of these. So what I am going to do, instead of moving the camera, I'm just going to, I probably could have just turned that and carried it back through there, I bet. So let's try this again. And I know I can fold this over. And like layer it. I do have it double layered right now, so I'm going to push this in like this. I'm going to hold it. And I can actually hear it cutting the fabric. Okay, so let's pull this out. Get it on through there. So guys, there's another 2 squares. So this is pretty amazing. So I don't need this one anymore. Now I only have these little shreds because I'd already trimmed this up. So I don't need this block any longer. So I am going to put it back over here. I'm going to roll this back through because I do have some more sizes I need to cut. Okay, I need 4 of this size. So what I'm going to do is try to fold it over. I'll tell you what, I can leave this. And then I get the acrylic for this block. Now remember guys, this was a used studio system that I've never used one of these before. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's see if that cut 4 out of that one. Yes, it did. It cut 4 out of that one. Well, we double folded it, so we got 4 of those squares. Now we have one more set of squares to cut out of this. Okay, guys, so you just witnessed my first use of the AccuQuilt system. I do still have some squares that I need to do, but let me go on and mark these that I have cut out. This one here is going to be, let me make sure this is the right, yeah. This is going to be our letter N, and I do use my alphabetics. So we have N, my little clips, and this one right here is O. Now, I'm going to see if I can get 8 squares out of this. That may be a little difficult, but I'm going to try. I'm going to get that out of my way. First thing I'm going to do is trim this off. So that way we'll have that out of our way. And we are going to be trying to make 8 squares out of this. So the first thing I'm going to do, that'll be 4 right there. Is that going to be long enough? Oh, barely. Barely. Now, I will have to cut another piece because I do have some other squares that do need to be coming off. But I have this whole piece and I only have 6 more cuts to make out of this, and then I can make them other 8 squares out of it as well. So So that will work. And oh, I'm sitting here wondering why in the world is that, because it's got an extra 1/2 inch on that end. I'm hoping I got the right. That don't look right. That don't look right. That ain't right. Dadgummit. Well, that's not right, but I can still use that. Now, how in the world? I did it the wrong direction. Well, no, because I didn't do it the wrong direction, but I can still get, I can still get some out of it. Because I knew I was going to have to turn it to the side to cut off the extra. So it's okay. My math wasn't mathing is what happened. But that's okay. I still got 4. And I need 8. And I got plenty of fabric over here. And I'll have 4 of this cut as well. That I need 8 of also. So guys, I just keep seeing all these projects that I want to do. So that's why I'm cutting this one. I do hope to have that handbag, that Quilt As You Go bag, pretty soon on my table. I'm sitting here seeing what I need. When you have a pattern that these are all your cuts on it, it's a lot of cut. When you go all the way to T, that's a lot of cuts. A lot of cuts. But, let's see. I still need to get 4 and 4 and then 2 and 4. Okay. So, let's see what we shall do. I know I have you guys turned down a little much, but I have it where you can still kind of see my table here. I know I don't need to cut a whole strip this size, but I'm going to, because all of my cuts that I need to make width-wise are smaller than this. I need 4 more of these. And my selvage, all I do with my selvage, I line up on my cutting board. And then I line this up on my cutting board. Because I don't want to be even with the selvage. I want to be even with my side. So let's go on and get us 4 more of these little bad boys out the way. And yeah, I think this is going to be a beautiful wall hanging. And I'm kind of following the colors that they used. But some of them I am doing differently. Just because not that they look bad, But it's just when I'm looking at it right here face to face, they just don't look like they would. I don't know that I could cut them where they look like they do. Okay, so this makes our 8 of these squares. So this is P. I had to find my alphabets here. This makes our P. And I like to try to get them lined up as easy as I can. So y'all, I did do 4 layers on the AccuQuilt Studio, and it did them fine. It did them perfectly. So now I need 4 more. I'm pretty certain, yeah, 4 more of this other one. And I will have to trim them down shorter, or not as tall. And I will tell y'all, this Fiskars ruler has a center line. I'm sure a lot of rulers have that center line, but it has a center line right here that goes all the way across, because this is a 6.5, I think, inch ruler. Yeah, 6.5, because it's got this little piece on the outside. I'm not real sure what that piece is for, but I'm sure it's for something, and I just haven't figured it out yet or had to use it. Okay, so here we have our Q. We've got our Q cut out. I'm just going to measure this on my table. And then use this ruler to cut it. But I do know that I am going to need to trim it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of fold it over. I'm going to see if this one will cut it. If I have... Okay, this is the one that I need. And I need 2 of these. So I only have 1. Oh, let me see if this one is long enough, because I may be able to make 1, but I need 4 of this one. But if I can get, oh yeah, if I can get at least 1 out of this, I know I am like a fabric conserver. Yes, that's the one I need. I need, when I cut it and I know I have to have it, I need to move it out of the way. Especially when they're small strips like that, because I could easily think that was a scrap. So I need to cut that one down too. Okay, so now I have to cut more of these, but at least this time I can cut the exact width because everything else is the same exact width. The only thing with this cutter is you can't really cut anything much less than 1 1/4. And I wouldn't even go 1 1/4. 1 1/2 is really as small as I would go. I have one of each that I need, and I need one more of the really long one. So I think, and I need 3 of the shorter one. So I think what I'm going to do is cut the shorter ones, cut 2 of them at least. And then open the fabric up and cut the long one and the short one out of what's left. Cutting that selvage off the end there. Now, since I am right-handed, I do turn my fabric to where the crease is to the right because I'm going to be cutting to the right, or on the right side of my ruler. Okay, so there's 2 more of our short one. So now what I'm going to do is open it up, cut 1 more of my short one. Yeah, there's plenty there. Was just checking out the time, and it looks like we've been doing this almost an hour, and it is after 9 already because my husband, I might have told you this already, I might not have, but my husband worked off this morning and he took me for a late birthday dinner. So we went and had dinner tonight together. Okay, so this one here being our short one, this is our S. So I'm going to go on and get an S on this. And I only need 1 more of this one. Double checking my length that I have to have, because as I said, I'd rather double check and have it right than not check and have to recut. And sometimes I still cut it wrong because I cut it the wrong size. Okay, so here is, I think this is, oh no, I have binding strips, but I'll tell you what, I'm not going to cut my binding strips, which is going to be the red pin dot. It's just like the blue pin dot, except I'm doing the red pin dot, and I'm not even sure what they used. Okay, yeah, I've got to find my T because that's what this is. I don't even know which one they used on their border, but I just like this pin dot so much that that's the one I'm using. So out of, this was a half a yard of background. And this is what I have left. I have almost 11 inches left of this. But I would rather have too much fabric than not enough. And yeah, that wouldn't be good. Because sometimes I don't cut so good. And sometimes I need that little extra. We will hopefully be sewing this tomorrow night. So stay tuned. Thought maybe you might like to see how I store it all. I have everything cut. And I just put it all in my little bin. I make sure my pattern is in here as well. I don't need my clips anymore because I have everything cut. Don't need my alphabeties. Okay, so we are set. I'm going to put my rulers away and call it a night. See y'all tomorrow.